FlossTube. This is Barb with Lost and Floss. Same day as my last video, number 72, but this one's 73, and it's going to follow more the normal format of me showing you my stitching and maybe a story or two thrown in, who knows. So as referenced in my last video, I took a total break from stitching for a good month that we were on vacation, and just really concentrated on relaxing and not being creative and just having fun, and it was awesome. But now back at it, and I have things to share and things to work on, so I can't wait to get fully back in my groove. So a couple things that I wanted to mention. Special thanks. Tish from HeartsongStitchery. I stitched one of her Valentine's pieces, and it was so cute, and she thanked me for showing it and gifted me several other charts. So I'm going to insert them here. So you can maybe go check out her Etsy site, and I'll put a link in the drop down as well. And thanks again, Tish. That was just such a nice surprise. And she told me I could pick out two, and I was like, I couldn't decide between, like, there were three that I really, really wanted. And in the end, she sent me all three. So that was very, very kind. And then the other special thing I received from Leanne's brother. He took rose petals from her funeral and dried them, and then made this awesome little keepsake. And it has things like her date of birth, stitcher, well, her name, artist, and then the day she passed away, and best friend. Did I say her birthday? Her birthday, if I didn't. I've decided I'm starting a piece on that date in like a lasting tribute, and yeah. I thought this was so sweet. And he told me he even aged the paper himself. And then he's like, well, you know, like I could see a cross stitch piece on here. So I'm going to stitch something and then just affix it right on top. But it's such a nice idea. I've got rose petals from both my mom and my aunt's funeral, and I thought, oh, maybe I'll do something similar to this for them. But anyways, thank you, John. That was really, really nice. I think I'll save the other item that I have, really excited about. And you'll see why when I show it to you. But I also wanted to mention, I think my last video, which was mid-March or mid-February before we left, I referenced a birthday cake I made for my granddaughter that had the Encanto theme on it, and I forgot to put the pictures in. So if you want to see that, I'll put some pictures at the end, and yeah, guess we'll just keep going. So if you remember, like, do I need to recap? I feel like it for my own sake. So I made a video in the middle of February, and while I during that time frame, it was Finish It February sale going on. And what happens for me in February is I commit to not starting a single new chart. And so it really gives me an opportunity to get some very good momentum on some of the things that, you know, need some TLC, because I've been ignoring them. So I really got quite a bit done on some things, and got a couple like long-term things finished up. So yay for me. But anyways, I'll show you what I've been working on. This is kind of out of season, but it's my like go-to easy stitch, and I really want to move on to the spring one. As you know, I'm finishing, or maybe you don't know, but I'm trying to finish up my series, quite a few this year. And so Little House Needleworks, the Fall Band Sampler, is one that I had started a while ago, and I really want to start the spring one, but I told myself, you cannot start the spring until you finish the fall. So, and it's like really mindless stitching. I'm using some of the called for, some of the not called for, but I've got, you know, quite a bit done. So I hope to really get the rest of this cranked out shortly. And I have to finish, all 4 seasons are going to be, I have to chop this down a little bit. This used to be in a frame, but so I'm hoping to have the same scale so I can put these together. And I'm stitching this on, I believe it's 28 count vintage country mocha. So can't wait to get that one finished up. It shouldn't take too much longer, and then I'll still have summer, spring and summer, but you know, at least I'll be halfway done, so that's always good. Back to that series problem. I'm stitching the months Prairie Schooler, and this one is March, technically called Daffodils, I guess. I love this one. I love daffodils and spring flowers. So I'm using the called for colors, and I'm going to stitch it just like the chart looks. So I pulled it out, and I got some things done on it. I think this is just a 32 count ivory, I believe. So I'm stitching 2/2, just all DMCs. So I know I'm not going to get done. March is only 2 days, well, today and tomorrow. So I know I won't get it done, but I'll maybe keep working on that, because I think the next one that I have active is May. Yeah. I don't know if I have April yet. I'll have to look. I might need to buy April. Then I was gifted this chart, Spring Fling, with thigh needle and thread. And, you know, I've seen so many people stitch it. And I'd started it, but didn't get real far. And this is 32 count, what is it? I just looked at it. Blush that I stitched, Weeks blush that I then dipped in, it was a chocolate cherry wine, just to kind of grunge it up a little bit, and so it's not quite so bright. But this one, you know, I got off a little bit and didn't know how to get back on track, and so now I feel like I can, you know, move a little quicker than I was in the beginning. So I'm hoping to get this done. If not by Easter, then, you know, before real summer sets in. Real summer. And then last year I had gotten a couple of the let's see, Jelly Bean Jubilee by Rendered Gervais. I had stitched, let's see, well, that's a bit of a glare. I had stitched the Big Easter, I stitched the bunny with the tulips, and I stitched the bunny paint can. So just recently I stitched the two bunnies pulling the wagon of carrots. They're just so cute. I'm going to make these into little pillows. But once again, I'm trying to finish out the series, and I can show you the other ones. I just want to put the board behind them so that you'll be able to see them. So Easter, and then there's the little, I have to trim the bow, so don't think it's going to be that long, but I thought I'd wait till I made it into a pillow in case it gets like untied. And then this guy is going this way. He's cute. And so I have that, and then I have quite a bit of fabric, so I don't know that I'll get them all on that, but and then I have this. I think this was my test. I don't know if I was going to use a different color or what I was going to do, but I don't know. Maybe I could add just a little bit to it and then have another little pillow. So hoping to get, you know, Easter's, I don't know, 3 weeks away yet. So I might at least get another one done. And then, you know, the thing is, I don't want to, I want to get them done so I can put all the threads away. That's always my biggest dilemma when it's a series. I hate to, like, you know, put the threads away and then have to pull them all out again. So now I have no, oh, well, I guess I have, that's all I have for whips. Yeah. That's all I have for whips. But, well, it's not really. I worked a little bit on the stocking, and I worked a little bit on another piece that a sampler that I had gotten, but not enough that I could really keep going. But I'm really excited because I got 3 pieces done during Finish It February that were like oldies. Like 2 were in my Stitch 10 and 20 challenge, and finally got those done. One of which is Chessie and Me. This is, I think this is called, Wisconsin River Sampler. And this is one that I'll use as a giveaway because I know there were people who wanted this chart. It was one of the thrift finds I bought when I first got back into stitching. And I started it when we first started doing FlossTube, and there's so much 1/1 on this that's what slowed me down. But it's done, and I think it's cute. And I'll either frame it if I have a frame or make it into a little pillow. But I use mostly the called for colors. I think maybe some of the fish are slightly different color. There was enough 1/1. Oh, pardon me. There was enough 1/1 on it. And so that really kind of slowed the boat down. But I just kept plugging away. And this was 1/2. I can't remember if it's 32 count or 36 count. But I think it's cute. Like there were enough specialty stitches. I like the little log cabin, and the border I think is really cute. So, yay me! You know, when you finish one of those long ones you've had for a really long time, it's just like such a feeling of relief. And you know, I know some people just don't even bother, but as I've mentioned before, mine aren't that old, so there isn't anything that I, you know, like is severely out of style or date, you know, that you'd look at and think, this is just so not me anymore. So another one of my Stitch 10 and 20 challenge pieces that I had picked out was the Scarlet House American Farmhouse. And I think every time I show this, I mention that the very first time I went to Country Sampler in Spring Green, Wisconsin, they had this chart stitched up, and so I got it as a kit. And I loved it then, and I love it now. I think because it was a kit, they might have changed out some of the colors, but I just changed out one. The blue was a little bit too gray, and at first I left this block with the original colors, but then it just looked so gray to me that I ended up pulling out the first color I used and restitching it. But I was off on the like one up and one over on the lettering parts, so that was kind of a pain to get back on track. And I had to, in the end, I ripped out some of the letters and restitched them once I got my alignment back together. But I love it. I can't wait to get this framed. I might try framing it myself. Maybe I'll order a frame. I keep thinking just, you know, like a rustic black or something would be great for it. But this is, you know, like it was challenging for me in the beginning stitching it, but then when I went back to it, it really, you know, I see I have a big blob on my window, so if you were wondering if that was bad stitching, it's gone now. But yeah, I think, you know, it's one of the ones that I can't wait to get on my wall, and I love stitching it, and I love how it turned out. And now for the grand winner. I don't have the chart, but it's Winter Rose Manor. And here we are. I can't wait to get this framed. This is another piece I think I'm going to take in and have it done right. I was afraid that the conch, and I can say that the right way to pronounce the color is conch, because we spent a couple days in Key West. I was afraid it wasn't going to show up, but when you see it now, you really can see it from the border or from the background fabric. So I'm glad I stayed with the conch color. And my white, I did replace. I think it's roasted or toasted marshmallow, and I believe I used bamboo. I had to add a little extra stitching to the bird's wing, because my colors blended in too much, and I didn't think there was enough contrast. So I thought that was a good way to kind of just give it a little pizzazz. And yeah, I'm thrilled to have this done, and it's one that I just love everything about it. You know, there are some that the minute you see them, you know you're going to stitch them, you know you're going to love them. So that was a very just a good sense to get it done. And I got it done during February, finished it February before we left on vacation. And so that was wonderful, because, it just cleaned up that one thing that really was hanging over my head. And not that, I was going to lose sleep over it, but it was a good feeling to have that done. So, we did a little road trip, drove down to Florida. My sister and her husband were renting a condo on Marco Island, and so we spent a couple fun days with them. Just, watching the sun go down and then walking somewhere for dinner, and just, yeah, it was, a few little walks and just a fun, relaxing time. So that was really nice. And then we went up the coast a little bit and met one of my friends and her husband have a condo just a little north of there. And so met them for breakfast one day and then continued up and met another friend I had worked with and had dinner with her husband and her. And then we were going to stay over one night in Fort Myers so we could go to the Thomas Edison Henry Ford Museum the next day. So they ended up joining us. So that was a fun morning and, fun to see the grounds and the gardens. And, I love seeing like the old houses and hearing, tales of what transpired and who visited. And so we went in the museum and spent quite a bit of time there, and then went over to good friends of ours moved down to Vero Beach, and so we spent quite a bit of time with them. I am sure they were kind of relieved when we left, but just nice to have a lot of time just to, reconnect and, we did a lot of fun things, dinners out and going to the beach and a lot of swimming in their pool and me trying to stay out of the sun. So I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know what it'd be like in June, July, August, it would not bode well for me. But and then another day we went up, one of my other friends was renting a condo in New Smyrna, and so Bike Week was going on in Daytona, so we zipped over there for a while and saw, my husband was calling it the circus act, but this couple who weren't that young that I would have thought they would have been being a little bit more careful, but like we noticed them on their bike like driving erratically, and the guy pulled off the shoulder and then all of a sudden he pulled back into traffic and there's no like bar on the back of the bike, so he all of a sudden he's doing a wheelie and she's hanging on to him with her legs around his waist, like not her hands, and honest God, she almost fell off the back. And I kept saying, just back up. I don't want to see her die. So, it was a little bit crazy, but yeah, we just walked around the fairgrounds and saw all the new bikes, which is fun, and just hung out there for a while, and then spent some time with my friend and saw their place, and then we headed back down and we did a road trip with our Vero Beach friends to Key West for a couple days. And just, there's some restaurants. They had always rented a place down there, and we had visited a couple times. So we all had like favorite restaurants and shops we like to go into. And so there was a great little Cuban coffee place right by our house, which was, it was a splurge, but it was so fun to be like just in the midst of things. And our friend that booked it, she kept, saying it had a private pool, and we're like, it can't have our private pool. Well, we got there and it was like a really nice private pool. So we spent lots of time, like, just swimming or, eating breakfast out on the patio by the pool, which was fun. And we had been watching, I don't know, there was a show that was filmed down in the Keys called Bloodlines, which, oh my gosh, it's like the people are all disturbed and like lots of stupid, stupid decisions. But anyways, when we drove through and the island that the show was located on, I had found the theme song from the show, so I started playing it on my phone. So we were all laughing, but that was kind of like our activity every night. We would, watch an episode or two on Netflix before we went down there. So, and it was Coach from Friday Night Lights. I can't remember his name. But he was like the character, and it turns out like they're all so flawed, but it kind of sucks you in. It's not like I don't know how to describe it, but I think it was the connection mostly that we were going by there that kind of caused us to like get sucked into watching it. So anyway, so it was a fun little road trip. We took a seaplane over to the Dry Tortugas. It's a national park. I don't know, it took us like 45 minutes to get there from Key West, but it was awesome. Like just flying, because you fly low over the water, so you could see like sharks and turtles and dolphins and like the patterns of the water. And I mean, I think that was my favorite part. And then, getting over there, there's a fort from I think it's the 1700s. If you're a history buff and you're shouting at me, I don't retain so well all the time. But so then spent the afternoon there, and then flew back and, took our time getting back up to Vero after that. But just like wonderful memories. We also did an airboat to see alligators. I'll put some of those pictures at the end too. That was awesome to see them so up close, and like, oh, no wonder I don't like to think about walking through like bushes, in Florida. I'm like, oh, I probably would stay on pavement all the time. And, like every day we would walk in their community, which was great, just to be out and getting the sunshine and lots of, some days we cooked, some days we went out, and it was a fun time. So we're so grateful to have friends that, are such great hosts and want us to come. So, but I'm sure they were kind of glad when we left. I mean, our original intent wasn't to stay that long, but if we were going to stay with my sister, which was a last minute decision, we had to get there earlier than we had planned. So that is the reason we ended up being gone for a month. So, but back to Wisconsin, we had one nice day that we were out on the bike, and then it got cold and rainy, and everyone's complaining, but I'm like, I kind of like this. So, but I am ready for spring. So hopefully we'll get that soon. Okay, this is like too much rambling. So I'm going to add some of those pictures at the end. So hopefully you enjoy them. If like I think I'm saying April 7th, but around then is going to be the cutoff for the giveaways from my previous video. So if you haven't watched that yet and it's before that time, go ahead and, enter for some of the charts. And if not, I'll try to be back like on more of a regular schedule now. We have no big trips planned, everything goes with me to the cabin when we go up there. So, yeah. Oh, and I almost forgot. Look at this. So I told them to surprise me with the color, but Stella Lighting gifted me this light. This is awesome. I mean, it's, to begin with, it's nice and heavy, so I won't knock it over. But then there's, like, you can do lower, higher, and there's a couple different modes, you know, so one of the lights more blue, dark. So, I have it here by my sewing machine, and I think that's, I have such a bad light in this corner, so I'm just thrilled that I'll be able to try this out. And if I understand correctly, I think I will be getting one to give away at some point, so which is really exciting. So my little pink light, I threw pink in just in honor of Leanne, you know, the whole, I mean, she was a red person, but you know, the significance of pink for breast cancer. You know, I think it's such an issue for so many people, you know, not just women, even some men. And, you know, it's amazing how prevalent and how many people are lost to it or have their lives altered so significantly by it. So, so that's kind of why I was like, surprised me, because I kind of thought maybe they'd send me pink. I don't know why. It was nice visiting with you, and I'm glad I'm back. And yeah, hope it won't be too long before you see me again. And hopefully I'll have some finishes, right? So, bye.